Hey, what's going on guys? I am Jake from today's iPhone.com. I just came off of a 48-hour digital detox, which means I couldn't use any screen-based technology for 48 hours, and I hated it. So without further ado, let's talk about some screen-based technology. Alright, so the first story on the agenda is Apple finally sent out invitations for their iPhone event. Now the invitation is pretty simple. It just features 4 iOS icons, and each icon gives us a little bit of information on the event. First, the calendar, it says Tuesday the 4th because the event is going to take place on Tuesday, October 4th. Clock's application is pretty self-explanatory. The hands are pointing to 10 o'clock and the event will start at 10 o'clock in the morning, California time that is. The Maps application is marking the location of the event, which is Apple headquarters. And the phone application is the only one that's really kind of been giving people some trouble. It's just the phone icon, and then there's a little one badge at the top of it. There's nothing definite about what this icon means, but a lot of people are saying that it means that there will just be one iPhone announced, which makes sense to me. And under these 4 icons is the tagline, "Let's Talk iPhone." So we know what the focus of the event will be, and I gotta say I'm not very surprised. It's way overdue for an iPhone, so yay for iPhone. Now just a couple things that we're expecting from the event. Obviously, a new iPhone, iOS 5 and iCloud. I'm sure we'll get a demo of that and then a little bit more concrete detail on when they will go live. If I had to guess, I'd say they'll go live probably around the 14th when the iPhone 5 launches. And then maybe some talk of iPods, maybe some application developers, and the usual statistics and stuff about Apple as a company. If you want to check out my full predictions, you can head over to this week's Social Saturday, link in the description, where I just run down everything that I think we're going to see from the event. Needless to say, it's going to be very interesting, very cool, and hopefully we get some cool devices out of it. What are you guys most looking forward to from the event? Can you not wait to get your hands on an iPhone 5? Or would you be happy just to get iOS 5 and iCloud on your current iDevice? Let me know in the comment section down below. In case you guys couldn't tell, this is going to be an iPhone 5 centric video, which is shocking, I know, but hopefully you can bear through it. Now this next story states that we will see the iPhone 5 or the iPhone 4S or whatever in 16, 32, and 64 gigabyte capacities. Now there's no physical proof, just the word of Mr. X, which sort of weakens the rumor. But Apple has been testing 64 gigabyte iPhones for some time now, so as Cam points out, it's not an impossibility. It would be nice to see a 64 gigabyte iPhone, but I have to be honest, I don't really see Apple doing this just because they're pushing so much towards cloud-based storage and cloud streaming and all the iCloud features that I feel like they don't really see the need to have a 64 gigabyte option, and if Apple doesn't see a need to it, we really won't be getting it. So if I had to place a bet, I'd say that we will see 16 and 32 gigabyte iPhones, not a 64 gigabyte version, but I'd love to be proved wrong. What's your opinion on this? Would you spring for a 64 gigabyte iPhone to keep all of your videos and music and stuff right on the device without an internet connection? Or are you happy with the 16 or 32 gig and, you know, using some stuff from the cloud? Alright, our final iPhone 5 story of the day comes from a website called Giga, and they did something very interesting. We've had more than enough leaked iPhone 5 schematics and designs for case makers and stuff, but to the best of my knowledge, nobody has used these to build an actual physical model of the iPhone 5 until now. Now the guys over at Giga manufactured a full-sized, not working, but still cool-looking iPhone 5 model just to get a glimpse of what the device looks like in the real world and to compare it to some of the other smartphones out there. Now as suspected, it basically looks like a shrunken iPad 2, but I mean, don't get me wrong, it does look really cool and sleek and good. The only thing I don't like about it is the home button, or the home area, I guess you could call it. It's weird, it's recessed into the phone, and it's long and it's awkward, and I just would rather have the circle home button. Looks like I may be disappointed on that front, but the rest of the device definitely makes up for it. Cue the slideshow! As you can see, the device is super thin, it's a little bit shorter and a little bit wider than current iPhone models, but the screen looks nice, the back looks nice, the tapered edges around, I think, add a really nice look to the phone, and it's probably going to feel really good in the hands. I know a lot of you are actually partial to the flat, sort of squarish design of the iPhone 4, but I don't think you will be too disappointed with this model, you know, assuming that this is what the iPhone 5 looks like. But like I said, it's only a couple more days till the Tuesday event, and then we will know for sure. Finally! And then maybe, just maybe, some of the Apple rumors can stop. If I was typing that on a tweet, I would use the hashtag sarcasm right afterwards. Did I just use a hashtag in real life? Yep. And finally, stories have been flooding the web this week of a possible iPod death, if you want to call it that. Basically, there are rumors floating around that Apple will discontinue the iPod Classic and the iPod Shuffle very soon. This is a sad thing, certainly, but I can't say it's all too surprising. The iPod Classic has been basically around in one form or another for 10 years now. The design is almost unchanged from the original iPod, and while it is popular with people who love music just because the storage is so high, it's one of the lowest selling iPods, and it really only does one thing. iPod Touches, iPhones, even the new iPod Nanos, they have multiple features and they can do a bunch of things. The iPod Classic just isn't competitive in that way anymore, which is also why the iPod Shuffle is probably on the chopping block as well. Apple is really moving towards touchscreen based things that can do multiple features. The iPod Shuffle doesn't even have a screen, so doesn't look good. Again, I would love to be proved wrong about this, but as of now, if you were planning on buying an iPod Classic or an iPod Shuffle, I would do it sooner rather than later. Anyway, that is all the big news for this week, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. Definitely keep in mind that the links to all of these stories I talked about in this video are in the description down below, so go give those a look. Also, don't forget that we will be covering the hell out of the iPhone event on Tuesday, so don't forget to head over to todaysiphone.com on Tuesday the 4th to check out the latest and greatest from whatever Apple announces. As always, if you want to connect with me a little bit more, talk about anything Apple, iOS 5, iPhone 5, or anything at all, movies. I just saw 50/50 and it was awesome. Go see that. Right, so talk about those things. You can follow me on Twitter at @TIP_Jake. And don't forget to head over to todaysiphone.com for more news, views, reviews, and much, much, much more on iPhone 5, iOS 5, the Tuesday event, and anything else you want to see. Okay, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to bed. See you next week.